everybody. It's Friska here from Fresh by Friska, and I'm joined by Matt of Laevo, and this is the second edition of our collaboration. And today's chat, we're going to be talking about how we got into change management, right? There's still a lot of confusion on exactly what the discipline entails. So we're here to speak to you about it, and hopefully it'll debunk a lot of myths. So Matt, yeah, tell us how you got started.
Well, yeah, it's there are a lot of myths, but well said. I think you mentioned in the last video that lifting the cloak and dagger of what change is. But it's very interesting from my perspective, getting into change in the first place. So I was a young whippersnipper. It was just last year. No, just
Still up, Matt.
a long
Still up.
time ago. Yeah, no, it was a long time ago when I first started. I was a payroll officer. And I was just tapping away, entering allowances for people to get their pay and making sure all of the auditing was done and doing all of the good things. And then the organisation decided that we needed to introduce something, make things a little bit more efficient. It was just a little bit too difficult, lots of paper, lots of Excel spreadsheets, and the system that we were using just wasn't great, and it wasn't connected throughout the whole organisation. So they journeyed on to this platform called an ERP, so an enterprise resource planning platform, which was back in the day, ERP. What the hell are you talking about? But it's very well known these days, obviously.
Yes.
But I took on the quasi change manager role as well, helping design some comms, looking at the training, how are we going to impart the new information, the new capability onto these people. How are we going to tell them what we're doing this, why we're doing this, and why it's good? Because today I do all of these things and I'm used to it. It's all good. Don't touch me. Don't touch what I'm doing. I'm really enjoying this. I don't want you to ruin my world. We're going to take you to an even better world.
Well, I would say that I've followed a very similar story. So my undergraduate is in HR, strategic management, and IR. And at the time, I had won a scholarship to California. And one of my professors, he had spent a lifetime, consulting to Fortune 100 companies all around the world. And I said to him, I want to do what you do. Like, how do I get into it? So he goes, go get your MBA and then, step into management consulting. So that's what I did, but every project started seeming like it was the same thing. It seemed like Groundhog Day. And every single project closure report, it was people issues, stakeholders not on board, ineffective communication, yada, yada. Anyway, I moved back to Australia and was still doing general consulting. And it was then nearly 10 years ago, change management started to be recognized as a discipline. And I thought, oh, this is interesting because every day is different. So it combines, psychology, engagement, how to leverage influence and persuasion without formal power. And it played to all my strengths. And so I took a leap of faith. So I took a 40% pay cut to start from nothing, start as a change analyst. And I just worked my way up with unwavering dedication, laser-like focus, and unshakable discipline. And since then, I've done everything, a lot of digital transformations, system implementations, mergers and acquisitions, and you're obviously, every company now has a continuous improvement function. So that means processes are constantly changing. And so, and that was nearly 10 years ago. And it's one of those roles that will never be offshored because it's very much a people-focused role. And so I saw the opportunity, and everybody is probably sick of seeing the stats about the accelerating pace of change. Well, guess what? It's true. So now's a good time to be in the industry. If change is the new norm, then doesn't it make sense? So is the need to manage it effectively. So that's how I started.
Yeah, no, that's I love I love the whole understanding that, and you called it out perfectly, that people change issues. I'll put that in air quotations because it's called out in practically every PIR or
everything
project implementation review for those that are listening. Every PIR report that is done at the end of the project say, so how do we go? Every time, why are we still putting down people and change is being done poorly.
And I think a good point to highlight, it's not only should you get the right people on board, as in the right change resources, but get us on board early. Like Matt, you and I, we are shit hot at what we do, but we're not magicians, you know, so don't bring us in when it's about to go pear-shaped and it's about to go live next month.
Yes.
So yeah, that's another thing. People have very unrealistic expectations of what a change manager can and cannot do. So
and change is not an email to everyone and here's a training session.
Hallelujah.
Anyone says that change is an email or some sort of comms and a training program, every time I hear that, it's just like, don't engage us 4 weeks beforehand, expecting us to magically create change and allow the adoption to happen. Change is so mammoth, both from an individual perspective to understand what is the change for me, but for the organisation, from that benefits, from how you're going to be able to map out what the processes are, to see where the efficiencies are. There's so much to change. There's embedding. We'll talk obviously more about that over the coming weeks. So it's not an email. It's not a training program. It's a whole lot more. All right, great. Thanks for the chat. And it was great for this. You're going to cut that out, obviously. So thanks, everybody, for listening to this second episode of the collaboration between Matt and I, so Fresh by Friska and Laevo. And we will see you next time.